Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
How dare you!
Well. Good afternoon, John.
Well, indeed.
How are you?
All right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. If you missed our disaster of a fortnight stream last night, you did miss out, by the way, because we dubbed ourselves the world's worst gamers, but it turns out we're actually pretty good at it.
Well, Adam is.
Yeah, Adam is. You're absolutely right, yeah.
I think he's carrying us.
Yeah, Robin Wolstenholme says spicy title. And we'll get to it. We will get to it. Don't you worry about that. You didn't see this, John, but Spain are currently on alert, close their airspace and close their airports because there's a Chinese rocket falling out of control.
Right, so Spain think this rocket's going to fall on them?
Well, they've closed their airspace. I don't know if it's reopened at this point, but it was about an hour and a half ago.
So this was, what kind of Chinese rocket is this?
Well, it just says Chinese rocket.
What kind of fucking shit is this? This is just shit.
Well, I can only tell you what the news said.
So what's NASA saying? Have you checked out NASA?
I haven't had time. I've had to be beautifying myself for the show, John.
Hell. Goes and has a bath.
Would you rather me not be clean every
Where's
day?
Adam? Adam, check out NASA. Find out what's going on.
Also, John, turn your speakers off.
Adam, go and check out NASA. Find out what's going on. Report back. ASAP.
Yes, please do. Please report back.
Just a matter of interest. Did that Artemis still hasn't gone, has it?
No, it definitely hasn't.
I mean, how many? That's like what? How many times have we failed to launch now? 3?
Yeah. But,
Oh, Jesus Christ!
will it ever launch? Is the question. Are they ever going to be able to slingshot their unmanned rocket around the moon?
Oh, let Elon do it. Fuck's sake.
Well, I was going to say, at this point, you might as well just stick a crew in it and hope for the best, right?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Put
Why
a crew
not,
of
indeed?
numpties in. Who would you put in that rocket? Who would you put in it? I'd like to nominate some crew.
Who would you like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Jeremy Vile.
I thought you were going to say that somehow.
I just don't like that man. And then I'd like to nominate Matt Hancock.
Oh, but he's going into the jungle, isn't he?
Who? Matt Hancock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. What about Piers Moron?
Yeah, no, that could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few people I could put in that rocket.
Do you know how much Matt Hancock?
Sunook!
Do you know how much Matt Hancock's being paid to go into the jungle?
330k.
400.
No, 330k. I think 400 might be in dollars.
But he's also medically exempt from many of the tasks.
You're now into the list territory.
Oh, I didn't know that, you see.
So make your fucking mind up. You know what you want to do. You told me you were going to talk about rockets. We started talking about rockets, and you've gone off on Matt Hancock.
Because you mentioned him.
I only said I would put him in as a crew member. You're the rocket.
Right, John, you're big.
And with that,
you're big
I'd like to introduce you to Chasing Dissent Live, episode 156.
Well, indeed. We are back. This is the Friday show. This is the last Friday afternoon show we're going to be doing for at least.
Don't laugh. Why you are laughing? Shut up. Shut up.
Why were you laughing? Right, carry on. This is the last Friday show.
This is the last Friday afternoon show we're going to be doing for some time. We're going to be going Monday to Thursdays in the afternoon, because tonight we do have the 2-hour all-in show, which is a lot more laid back, uncensored. There's no list. We swear a lot more and things like that. But we've been thinking, and we've been talking, and we've been thinking we just want to focus on that show on a Friday. So we gave you this show out of the kindness of our hearts. For this last Friday show, then Fridays going forwards, no afternoon show. There might be more gaming streams over on the other channel, though. That was a bit of a laugh last night. And as long as we've got Adam on our team, we might actually win.
We might. I mean, what we want to do is we want to focus on quality. I nearly said it with a straight face, damn it. We want to focus on quality.
Yes.
Don't we, Ben, rather than quantity?
Quality indeed. And we try and provide quality. We try and provide quality entertainment for you all. And with that in mind, and the title of this show, let's get straight into our first slide, shall we, John?
Yeah,
What's
go on.
going on here?
Well, right. So, Gareth Icke drops a bombshell this morning saying that David Icke has been banned from the EU for 2 years because he's a level 3 terrorist.
Yeah.
Okay. I tried to phone The Hague twice this morning.
He did.
I have tried to phone The Hague, and each time my call cannot be connected, so I don't know what's going on. Because I'm looking for an explanation as to what is a level 3 terrorist to start with.
I would like to know that. I did have a look on the internet before we came live on the show.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. So you don't know what a level 3 terrorist is. So, but apparently he's banned from going to the EU for 2 years because of his hearty words.
Well, I mean,
they're not even hearty words.
I was going to say, I'm not even sure how many, if not most of his words are in any way bloody hurty. I don't understand it.
This is mental. This is what the fuck is, and I shouldn't be swearing, but what the is going on in the world when people are getting banned from going to other countries because of their viewpoint and what they say?
Yeah, but we've done it.
And the thing is, he's not saying anything that's terribly controversial to be real, to be true. No. I mean, I don't know if he still goes on about reptilians, right?
I honestly couldn't tell you, to be honest.
I don't know. I've not been to his show. I've not listened to him. I believe, well, I have seen a few videos and things, but I believe his show's meant to be really good. And boy, the guy can talk, because I think he goes on for like 4 hours or something.
4 to 6 hours, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Adam's been to one of his shows.
He has,
purely from a research point of view.
I've seen the man talk live as well. He was there in Trafalgar Square.
Yeah. So I don't think. I mean, it's like banning Giorgio Tsoukalos from going anywhere, isn't it? It's exactly the same, because he believes in aliens. It's not aliens, but it's aliens. So if you can ban David Icke because he talks and he's a level 3 terrorist, why is Giorgio Tsoukalos allowed to go other places?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, and I can tell you exactly why.
Fantastic hair?
Well, it's because everybody thinks Giorgio Tsoukalos is a nutcase, whereas, you know, the mainstream news and the mainstream media will call David Icke a nutcase, yet David Icke sells out Wembley Arena. Yeah,
David Icke brings a big audience. He does.
He does. People listen, right? And I'm not going to pass any judgment on whether or not I believe anything or half the things that David Icke says. What I am going to say is this: a man should be able to talk, and he has been banned. He has been labelled a terrorist for simply saying stuff. He's not calling anyone to action. I've never seen him call anyone to commit any acts of any kind.
But you know what? People do that all the time and they don't get banned as terrorists. I mean, Just Stop Oil call people to action all the time.
Yes, they do.
Right? The organisers of Antifa, the organisers of BLM, they call people to action. They call people to take destructive action on occasion, and they don't get banned. Why not?
I mean, the Just Stop Oil, for example, are on Twitter every single day tweeting out, sign up for arrestable direct action. Arrestable direct action translates into sign up to commit actual crimes in our name.
Exactly. So they're committing crime and they don't get banned from anything.
Exactly.
And yet, David Icke, who's sitting in his house writing stuff and making videos and stuff, is banned as a terrorist. This is ridiculous. I mean,
it's insane.
It is insane. And the other thing is, it's like Assange.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that guy's been in jail for God knows how long now. Okay, it's not self-imposed, because even though he went to the embassy to avoid going to jail, effectively he put himself in jail, didn't he? You know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, what would have happened if he hadn't? He'd just have been in the situation he's in just now, which is in jail. And it might even be worse, because he might even right now be in America by now if he hadn't gone to the embassy in the first place. Because the guy's been stitched up from the word go.
Yeah,
I mean,
he has.
everything that was labelled against him has been dropped.
Yep.
Right? Apart from America wanting them because he published some of their state secrets, right? But he's not an American citizen.
And he's a journalist.
And he's a journalist.
He was
he had a platform.
It was provided to him by a source. We've got someone new in the chat there, Edo Rats, who says, governments are scared the masses wake up to their faith in their own human condition so they can continue to govern our minds and abuse us. And do you know what? That is one of the core messages that I've ever taken away from listening to David Icke speak, and I'm not talking about the reptilians or anything like that, is the focus on individualism, right? Is the focus on doing something for yourself, is taking back your own power even. And I do agree with Edo in that sort of rhetoric obviously scares governments, the EU Commission.
Well, yeah, of course it does, because as we know, what are the two main aims of government?
Mm-hmm. Come on, tell us,
Keep the population under control and feather their own nest.
Absolutely right. But honestly, to be labelled this, to be called a terrorist, right? When you've done nothing to ever suggest you could be anything of the sort, surely there is some kind of legal redress there, because that's defamation, for one. And and for two, it's just insane. It is insane.
It's insane.
You don't have to agree with anything the man says, and there's a lot of what the man says that I disagree with. Okay, but he is not, in my personal opinion, ever committed an act of terrorism.
No. He hasn't. Not even in your personal opinion. The man hasn't committed an act of terrorism. It's as simple as that.
It's insane.
He's not a terrorist.
It is insane.
It doesn't even matter that we don't know what level of terrorism level 3 means, because the man's not a terrorist.
No.
End of story.
No, he's not. And this is obviously about stopping the man speaking, stopping the man interacting with people, EU citizens. It's like they don't think that the internet exists, but also remember how cowed he is on social media. He is very much banned everywhere. He tried to return to Twitter only to be deleted within 48 hours.
It might be different now, now that things have started to change, but we'll get onto that in a minute or so.
Yeah.
But the whole thing's absolutely crazy. I mean, he's just not a terrorist. He shouldn't be banned off any social media platform. There's no reason for it.
No.
There's no reason for... In fact, 99% of the people that are banned off social media platforms, there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it at all.
Robin Wolstenholme puts in the chat, terrorist, a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political or religious aims.
Well, he's not a terrorist.
No, he's not. He's not a terrorist. And
exactly.
And honestly, I hope that he sues. He does something. He tries to get some kind of redress, because if somebody, an official body even, labelled me a goddamn terrorist, I would not shut up about it.
Well, I mean, surely you've got to, and it might sound ironic here, but you've got to go to the European Court of Human Rights here straight away.
Yeah. No,
because
you're absolutely right.
This is a breach of human rights.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
By the European Union.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the European Court of Human Rights is not the European Union.
Yeah.
It's a completely separate entity.
It is, yeah. It is.
But anyway,
and with that,
I mean, the whole British thing, and it's not just Britain, the rest of the world is falling down the toilet as well. Everything is out of control.
But remember,
it really is.
But remember, we did the exact same thing, right? Have you ever heard of an online journalist called Lauren Southern? Well, Lauren Southern was banned from Britain. She was detained. She was held in a centre because of her opinions.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's out of order. It's completely out of order, and it shouldn't be getting done.
No, she shouldn't have been detained.
I mean, he was banned from going to Australia and all that as well, wasn't he? He got deported from there.
For what?
For having bad words that go against government narratives.
I don't even think it's bad words, because the words he says are fine. It's his opinions. It's his thoughts. He has bad thoughts. This is thought policing. This is thought crime. This is dystopian, and people need to wake up to it.
You know what? Let's move on, right? Because it's getting worse. It's getting worse and worse. The nanny state is becoming, the daddy state is becoming the tyrannical state, because state censorship in Britain is out of control, and Spike's right here. Because 2 police officers have been sent to jail for sending messages to each other in private.
What?
Yeah.
Now, I'm no supporter of our police force, as you know.
No, well, neither am I now, but I mean, the thing is, 2 police officers sent messages to each other in private, which were offensive.
And?
Not to each other, but to other people.
And?
So, other people would never have known about these messages if they hadn't been revealed by WhatsApp, which is supposed to be encrypted, right? So WhatsApp is obviously not a secure communications channel for those that they're looking for such like.
That's
Now,
insane.
Right. So
What is
it gets worse. It gets worse than this. Right. So they've been sent to jail under the Communications Act 2003, where you're not allowed to put offensive messages on air.
Yeah.
Right. So
technically, they've been convicted of.
Technically, the kind of thing that we do on occasion could get you prosecuted, right?
Right.
You know, because you're technically not allowed to swear. You're not allowed to cause offence online, right?
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous because the thing is, what's the difference in real terms between you and I saying something about someone privately to each other in a pub?
Yeah.
In the street?
Yep. In
our own homes?
Yep.
Or online?
Nothing.
Because there's really no difference.
Nothing.
Because we are talking to each other privately.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it gets even worse, though, because the judge sentencing these two cops said that it was worse that it was done privately because no one had any opportunity to redress it. What? It's fucking private communication. Nobody's supposed to redress it.
Even if the messages were vile, were disgusting,
it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. And whoever this judge is, they need to be removed from position. It's as simple as that. They should not. Like, if it's been discovered that they are planning something bad, and that's what's been discovered, that's a different story. Okay?
No, but it's not about that. This isn't a terrorist thing or anything like that.
I'm not saying it is.
The whole thing is ridiculous. This is wrong. This is a serious breach of human rights.
Of course it is.
It's a serious overstepping of government. It's a serious overstepping of the judicial system. It's a serious infringement on people and their natural born right to talk to each other.
And remember, people, this, just like many of the other things we have seen lately, is not even about the police officers. It is about you. No. It is about sending a message to you. It's about telling you to shut up, to get in line, to do as you are told. And it's up to you whether or not you obey. But, I'm just warning you, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's shut up, get in line and obey.
Yeah, it is. Shall we move on?
You're right, Ben. You're 100% right.
I normally am. Shall we move on?
So, right. Now, that's the Twitter layoffs have begun, okay? So
I'll drink
we're getting a lot of sometimes hilarious tweets, I'll give you that. About people apparently been sealed out of their Twitter and stuff and getting fired, and the offices have been sealed, and people will be getting an email by 9 a.m. Pacific time. So it isn't 9 a.m. yet in Pacific time, is it?
Not.
No, they're 8 hours, aren't they? 8 hours, I think, behind us. So
when the British employees started getting locked out of their accounts at 3 a.m, John.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they got their email at 3 a.m.
No, they didn't.
It said all employees will receive an email alert at 9 a.m. Pacific time Friday, right?
Okay.
So if they it's not right. So, and this is the whole thing that gets me about these people going, I've been locked out of my account. Right, one, if you're British, what the hell are you doing up at 3 a.m., right, trying to work? Okay.
Unless you're trying to manipulate something, by the way.
Yeah, right. Two, it's not unusual. It's not unusual to put people in gardening leave when you're changing a whole infrastructure and way of doing things and doing business, especially in a technical sense, when people, if you give them access, could make really disruptive changes to things that you then rely on to provide a service. So it's not unusual to lock people out of accounts. And secondly, we've also got the ambulance chaser lawyers going, this is illegal, you need to have 60 days notice. Now, hold on a minute. Nobody said he hasn't given them 60 days notice of them being fired. What he's done is he's locked them out of their accounts. Right? He hasn't said he's not paying them for the 60 days. I was
going to say, and from what I understand, everyone is locked out.
Well, so there you go. I mean, that's how you would do it. You would shut everything down and then open it up to people that you're still going to employ and you still trust, because you can't leave it open because the people could tear it apart.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a sensible approach from a technical point of view. But the ambulance station lawyers need to hold off a minute and find out what the situation is, because, if he's trying to fire them without due recompense and without following law, and fine, then he's overstepped. But is he still going to pay them? Is he still going to? Are they still technically employed for the next 60 days?
Yeah,
or whatever?
I want to interrupt you there. I want to stop you there because I'm not 100% certain, and I am just sort of spitballing here. But Twitter is not the company it was last week, so it was a publicly traded company.
No, it doesn't matter. You're still bound by certain legislation, regardless of whether your company's public or private. You've still got certain legislation that you have to follow.
But if it's not technically the same company anymore because it's now X Holdings,
I think you'd be on a ropey peg, because there are things. What do you call it? There's legislation when you take a company over that you have to transfer the people across, right? So you still have to preserve their rights, and you can change their rights and regulations under conditions of work, but you need to give them due notice and time. So it's not people's rights are protected by law, right?
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that Musk knows this, and he will honour those agreements.
I think he will too, because I don't think he's got a choice. And
yeah, exactly.
And what's the alternative? A class action lawsuit, which he will probably lose.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to. That's the thing. It's all speculation, and these people are speculating on things they don't know anything about. Yeah. You have to wait until you've got the information. It's like Spain and rockets. I mean, we speculate that there's a rocket going to fall on Spain from China, but we don't know anything about it. So we cut that segment effectively and said, we'll come back to you when we know what it's about, because we can't speculate anymore. Because I don't for an instant think, China fired a ballistic missile at Spain.
No, I don't think so either, to be honest.
But that's the underlying threat, isn't it? When Spain suddenly closes, did it close its borders with something else? Is something else going on? Yes, that's a possibility. And this is just a cover story, but we don't know the situation. So, we can speculate as much as we like, but, effectively, we don't know, so we can't tell you.
I'll tell you who's not speculating, though, John.
Go on.
Miriam here.
She's a happy soul. I like that.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Yeah, well, no, you know what? That's a great attitude. I like that. I tell you what, though. I tell you what Miriam should do.
What's that?
She should tie her fucking shoelaces before she falls down the stairs and breaks her neck.
Yeah, no, I was going to point that out as well. Poor Miriam there. She could be in a big spot of bother. She really, really could. But, if it's over, it's over. And I urge you all to follow the hashtag #OneTeam over on Twitter, because it is something else. And I think on tonight's All In show, I think we're going to feature that thread, that hashtag a lot. We're going to be taking a good look.
Speaking of people with good attitudes, let's go to one who's got an incredibly selfish and narcissistic outlook. It's me. Everything's me about
it always
AOC,
has been.
Oh, but my God, she thinks that Elon Musk has got a crush on her. I really think she thinks Elon Musk has got a crush on her.
She thinks everyone has got a bloody crush on her. The Republicans only oppose my insane legislation because they all want to date me. No! Nobody wants to date you. Nobody wants to swim with you in your infinity pool.
You know what someone described her as this morning?
What's that?
The US version of Diane Abbott.
It's pretty fucking accurate as well. Oh! we're trying hard not to swear on this show, but Jesus Christ. That's...
And we'll get to Diane Abbott in a minute because I think it would be too much to go straight into Diane Abbott, so we'll just jump to Matt.
Yeah, hold on, before we do jump to Matt, Trudy has asked, who is that? That is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is a crazy far-left socialist member of Congress from New York who was like, look at me, I used to bartend, now I'm a member of Congress, give everything to everybody, socialism, and now she lives in an upmarket area of New York with a lovely multi-million-dollar apartment with her own infinity pool. Socialism, baby!
Yeah,
socialism.
She's a representative of the people, and she has the intelligence of an oyster.
Do you know what the most satisfying thing about all of this is? Right?
Go on.
In buying the Tesla that she owns, she helped Elon buy Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Elon's gone from being the darling of the lefties to the most hated man in the US.
And she owns herself a Tesla. She's got herself one of his cars. She helped him buy it.
How do you do the mental gymnastics to reconcile that?
I don't know.
And she obviously isn't terribly busy in the House of Representatives because
she never has been.
Freaking Twitter all the time.
And if she's not on Twitter, she's making videos on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
She's never busy. She once did that Green New Deal thing. She and it was insane. They were like gonna try and stop cows from farting. Was in her Green New Deal.
Yeah.
This thing was nuts. It would have completely bankrupted America. It was insane. And she goes, oh, they don't like it because they want to date me. No, they don't like it because it's a load of old tosh, Alexandra.
Yep.
It's a load of old tosh. Now we can move on to the man in Australia.
Right, so... He just sunk your whole premise yesterday, didn't he? He's just sunk it without trace because he's not going to do any bush chucker trials because he's exempt because of his allergies.
Well, I'm not sure that he's going to be exempt from all of them. So I imagine he's going to be exempt from and what they may do.
He won't be eating anything, that's for sure, right?
Well. Maybe the show's chefs can take his allergies into account and give him gluten-free balls.
Yeah, the whole thing's just.
Ooh.
You know why anyone would watch that show in the first place? I just don't know. Because I mean, I saw it maybe the first time it was on, and I thought that's bad. And then at that point, the guy I worked with, one of his friends was one of the comedy writers for what's those two idiots?
Ant and Dec.
Ant and Dec. He was one of their writers, okay? Mm-hmm. And he kept telling me that his pal was one of their writers, and I said, you know what? Your pal is fucking useless as a comedy writer.
So Adam, there's a couple of things in the chat I want to go to actually. Adam, obviously our third wheel, he says, "What the f is he going in for then? It's to sell his book. That's why he's going in, right?" Yeah. But Militant Mushroom has made a very good point here in the chat. He says, "Funny how exemptions count now, huh?"
Indeed.
Yeah, but then again, this is Mr. Hancock, and I have seen first-hand accounts from people who went for meetings with Mr. Hancock at the Department of Health when he was at the Department of Health, and when they were alone in his office, he would tell them, take it off, take off the old covering, because Matt Hancock did not believe in all of this stuff himself. None of them did. Look at the security for Gina.
Anyone with a functioning brain would have to question it, wouldn't they?
Yes. Of course, but none of them believed what they were.
Speaking of functioning brains, or not, as the case may be, what does Diane Abbott actually... How does she come up with this? Right? I mean, what does she do? Does she just like...
Have you got the actual tweet?
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on. No,
okay, it doesn't matter anyway.
I've got the second tweet, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, why... How does she come up with it? Does she just like... Well, does she just cut up a newspaper and throw words down? And see what comes out.
Well, it's like her doing maths, isn't it? Remember when she...
Our tweet was along the lines of, if you demonize migrants and tell them they're rapists, then that's where they're going to be, right?
Yeah.
That was along the lines of it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, that was without, at that point, knowing who did what to whom, really.
Yeah.
So, the woman's an absolute idiot. And that...
I think for the comment that she has made, I think she should no longer be an MP. I think that she should be not just resign. I think she should be fired. I think that she should not hold any position of any kind of power, even in opposition. She should not hold any position of any influence. She has literally turned around to the British public and said that because a migrant forced himself upon a young boy, was it a young boy, I believe?
I believe so.
Forced himself upon a young boy. It's your fault for being British and saying you don't want loads of people coming across the channel. The fact that she has made this statement should exempt her from ever holding any kind of public office. She obviously does not like the country of which she's supposed to represent. And she's an absolute sham. She's a failure. She's a stain. She is an absolute embarrassment for this country. And you know, if Keith, God forbid, Keith wins a general election, she would probably be in a cabinet position. And I'm sorry, but people making those kinds of statements, they can't be allowed to hold those types of positions.
It's if you look at our second tweet, where she goes, my earlier tweet regarding the rape of the teenager in the migrant home may have been slightly raw in content, but I maintain my theory. You treat migrants like rapists, then they're going to behave like rapists.
Diane, I'm sorry, but the fact that she has doubled down, she needs to be sacked immediately.
She needs to go.
She needs to be sacked immediately.
Anyone who allows that to remain in their party is one, an idiot, and two, incapable of making a rational decision that would benefit the people of this country. Yeah. Therefore, not fit to lead.
No, I agree with you.
Keith, you've got seconds left to take action on this.
Yeah.
Seconds.
I agree. Keir Starmer, I'm going to call him by his proper name. This is my message to you, Keir. You need to sack Diane Abbott immediately. She should not be allowed to hold public office. The fact that she is treating the British people this way, calling the British people these things, and making these horrible, disgusting allegations, blaming the British people for the actions, the vile, disgusting actions of a criminal, it just can't stand. So sack her now.
So by that theory that she's got then, if you treat someone like something, then they'll become that thing. So if I've been treated badly by the government and ruined, and I should be lying down and crying into my soup and not trying to rebuild a business that was cruelly taken off me.
No, and
is that right? And if I treat, if we treat them like public servants, they should become public servants. Maybe that's where we've gone wrong. We haven't treated them like public servants.
No, yeah.
And therefore, we've treated them like kings. And they've become kings. And they've ruled you. Because that's what they're doing.
I mean, just one more time.
So start treating them like the public servants that they are.
Just one more time before we move on, Diane Abbott, you are a disgrace. You're a disgrace. And an apology is not good enough. You are not fit to hold public office.
She can't apologise after that. She doubled down on it. I mean, you apologise now, then, everybody knows that it's just fake.
Yeah.
And you're only doing it to keep your position. And you can't be allowed to keep your position because that is vile. I don't call for censorship on many occasions, right?
I'm not calling for a censorship. I'm calling for a sacking. She can tweet what she bloody well wants, but
I mean, but there's a line. There's a line, you know, and that's just really, really, really low.
Yeah, low is an understatement. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. And speaking of, well, not very smart. Let's move on to what's going on here. This is what?
So this is the government.
What?
This is the government, right? That are trying to get yourself out of an energy hole.
Yep.
Right.
Scrapping a nuclear plant, possibly.
So let's not continue building the nuclear plant. Let's put that on hold just now. But we'll still keep building the high-speed rail that no one seems to need or want.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why would you do that?
Let's just give him a round of applause. Just a round of applause. Rashid Sunook, a round of applause to you and your government, sir. You are truly leading us into prosperity.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing more really can be said about that. Shall we move on?
Yeah. Right.
So sticking with our government, it would appear.
Yeah, I have a bit of a beef with this one.
Go on then.
And you know me, and I don't normally, have much of a beef, okay?
Yeah.
But first of all, if you take an oath, right? It's like it's like a vow of marriage and things like that. You really don't need to go and renew it unless you're like virtue signaling and fancy a day off. But you don't need to renew your vows. You don't need to renew your oaths because you took an oath. And if your word is your bond, then that oath should stand.
Yeah.
So the other thing that really annoys me is, what oath did you actually take, Dominic? Because first of all, any oath you took should be to the people that elected you and asked you to represent them. Now, if that oath is not to do that, but to uphold the rule of law, okay, I can let you off with that because the rule of law was put there by us, allegedly, right? But this is the part I don't get. To defend the independence of the judiciary. Well, I'm not sure that you can continue to work alongside our legal professionals to protect and advocate for our world-class judicial system when it's not a world-class judicial system.
I agree.
As we saw earlier.
I agree, and it does.
Two officers being put in jail for a private and totally private conversation that no one should have had access to.
No, I agree. And personally speaking, I'm fighting in this system at the moment, as you know, John. It doesn't seem independent at all. It seems very politically motivated. It seems very politically aligned. And I would say that the judiciary now, especially after the last 2.5 years, are simply the punishment arm of the government.
Well, exactly. And to bring it back to David Icke, right? Because what's our judiciary doing about that? Because surely he's a British citizen and is due the protections of this country. Surely, right? Yeah. So they should be taking some action on that. And as was it Robin? But yeah, Julian Assange is an excellent case in point. And did I touch on him earlier? Right?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, but Julian Assange is an excellent case in point because why are we getting involved in this when he's done nothing wrong in our legal system? No. Apart from skipping bail, right? Yeah. But apart from that, surely, time served now would be sufficient to address that. But
it's
no,
because of his extradition.
We're still looking to extradite him. You know what? You can turn around to America and you can say no. You're allowed to do that. And many countries actually get away with it because they're big enough and they've got the big boy pants on and they turn around and they go, no,
Well,
especially when you've got the clowns that are running America right now.
yeah.
Because America isn't what it used to be. It's not Team America World Police, and it needs to get that information through its thick skull. America's a great place.
It is.
But it needs to stop thinking it's the protector of the world, because you know what? Captain America's a movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in real life.
No, you're absolutely right, and they've stuck their noses into too many places. They have caused too many conflicts. They have orchestrated coups. They just need to focus on America, right? They just need to focus on America, and
yeah, they do.
Until they do, people are going to continue to look at them like this, and this is partially the reason that they are no longer really the superpower. The superpower now, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate, appears to be China. And because of that, we are all absolutely, in the long term, bloody screwed. So, it is what it is, unfortunately. But until such a time as, we are put in ideological gulags, we will continue to try and entertain you, bring you the news, make you laugh, and all that good stuff. And before we move on to our next slide, if you are enjoying this show, then make sure you leave a like on it, whatever platform you're on, be it Rumble, be it YouTube, be it Facebook, or Twitch. Make sure you are subscribed on any one of the platforms that you are on. That is extremely important. Please do subscribe. And if you want to go a little bit further and you feel like we deserve a little bit of support to keep the lights on here, then please consider a little donation or a subscription at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. Also, get over to the Discord server. It is free to join. Adam will put the link in the chat right now. And if you are a subscriber, If you're a subscriber on Patreon or Ko-fi, then you will get access to a members only section of the Discord where things like the after party will now live. So please get over there, sign up, and it's our own little slice of free speech heaven over there. Shall we move on to our dear friend?
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Shall we move on to our good friend Greta? Greta.
Greta's done great this week.
She's been doing the circuit, hasn't she? She's been doing the rounds.
I think she's been on the show every day.
Yeah, but I think
we should send her an honorary pass to the after party.
I think you could be right. Greta Thunberg or Thunberg.
Maybe we should ask Greta if she wants to come on our show since she's been on everybody else's.
Have you noticed that in this one statement she seems to have hit pretty much every woke buzzword going? So Greta Thunberg said it's weird when heterosexual cis, a meaningless word, white privileged middle-aged men, once again absolutely meaningless, are threatened by children. Just stating the facts about climate change. Now, before we actually lay into Greta, I want to know what science Greta knows. I want to know what she's qualified in. I want to know if she is qualified to make the statements that she does.
How dare you! Shut up already! Science.
That's your answer.
Yeah. So unpacking that statement slightly, right? I'm taking from it Jeremy Vile's weird, right? She still considers herself a child. Now remember, Greta's nearly 20.
I was going to say, she might even be 20 at this point, right?
She's certainly not kicking the arse off it.
No.
And thirdly, I like you, I have no idea what facts she is stating, because much of the information that she states about climate change comes from models.
Yeah.
And you know what? They've not been terribly accurate over the years. If history teaches us anything, it's be wary of people bearing models.
Yeah. and we're not going to say that the models are wrong, but we're just pointing out the fact that over the last 5 decades and beyond, all of the models appear to have been wrong. So
Yeah.
Like John says, just be wary, take these models with a grain of salt, and come to your own conclusions. Take a look at all of the data over the last 50 years, say, see how that correlates with the models that have been given out, and see if they've been right. It's entirely up to you, right? Natasha says somebody get her a boyfriend.
She definitely needs something.
Yeah. Do you know what? You gotta wonder how did she get here? Because she's in the UK at the moment, right? How did she get here? She obviously came probably on the Eurostar. Oh, it's electric. Oh, it came across under the tunnel. It's electric. But how is she getting around the country? I guarantee you, she's going in cars, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just that. I'll take you back to what I had a good old laugh about yesterday. Just Stop Oil, and I guarantee you, she might make a surprise appearance at the Just Stop Oil event.
Did they not do a tour in a diesel bus?
No, it gets worse. So they've got an event this coming Saturday. They're calling it the People's Assembly. It's in London, right? And they have, I think it's 10 or 15 diesel buses bringing people to this event and then taking them away.
Diesel, your reliable friend.
Just stop oil until we need to put you on coaches to bring you places. Yeah. It's so laughable.
How would they organise and logistically serve their purpose if we didn't have oil? I mean, okay, one could say they wouldn't need to because they would have achieved it, but if you didn't have oil, you wouldn't have any communication mediums because there would be no real way of keeping them going without oil. And I mean, they just don't realise that oil's involved in the production of almost everything. I don't mean as a fuel. I mean as a constituent part of it. You can't make plastics without oil.
Nope. I'm pretty much wearing oil. You're pretty much wearing oil. Everyone's pretty much wearing oil. You wear oil on your feet, and you're telling me all of these people are, we're shopping in hemp shops, vegan shoes. No, they're not doing that. Yeah. They're not doing that. No, they're all just all of their banners and signs. They would have had oil in the production, the paint that they're spraying all over places. Guarantee you, it's oil-based paint. They're just hypocrites of the highest order, and it's absolutely ridiculous, laughable, and funny, all in one. Let's move on to John Book. What has John said here?
Well, John Book has given us some information that I haven't forgotten, and actually, when I look at this information, I find it hard to reconcile.
Okay.
Right? Because he's saying, remember several months ago when the untreated programme on the BBC claimed only 6 million people were untreated in the UK. Right? Here's what the government data says months later. Still 13 million have not had a single treatment. Now if we are... What?
I can explain this discrepancy.
Okay, right. So what do you think my discrepancy is? Because it might not be what you're about to explain.
Well, no, I can explain the discrepancy in these two numbers, 6 billion and 13.
No, I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Right? What I'm worried about is the last figure he's given us, about 13 million still not had a single, right?
Yeah.
I think that can't be right. That's too low.
You know what?
It must be a higher number than that because...
Well, I've heard...
Unless... Well, right, hold on. Hear me out here.
Okay.
Right? So if you think there are 70 million people in the UK...
Yeah.
More or less. Okay? Between 16 and 20% of that population are children.
Yeah.
Well, 20% of 70 million is what? Is 16 million people.
Do you know what? You don't even need to do the maths because it tells you right there, right? So if we're to include children in this, right? So we're to include the entire population.
Well, you've got to.
It simply says there that 53 million have had a first dose, which means 17 million haven't.
No, but that right. So, yeah, if 53 million have had a first dose, every adult in the country's had a dose. I don't believe that.
Well,
I don't believe that.
Well,
have you? And you're an adult. You know?
Yeah, you know I haven't, you haven't.
Yeah, so that figure cannot, by any stretch of the imagination, be right. Because, I mean, even if you only look at our audience, which is maybe only 20 people on a good day, right? Almost none of them have had a first dose.
Yeah, but are we in an echo chamber?
Well, we may well be, but that doesn't matter because that's still 20 people, right?
Yeah.
In a tiny sample. But those 20 people must be... You cannot tell me that almost every adult in the country's had a first dose.
Well, I know many people who haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
know many people in real...
I was going to say, I'm not within these circles. I know many people outside of these circles.
I know people that come here that work with me, that work with my wife. I know loads of people that have not had anything, right? So I cannot believe that every adult in the country's had a first dose. That's why that figure cannot be anywhere near accurate.
Okay. Well,
that's my beef with this.
Well, Natasha says, and this figure is probably, because it's NHS, most people are gonna have had. She says 13 people in our office, only 2 haven't had it, and that's NHS, right?
Right, okay, but that, if you think about it, so 2 out of 13, that's still more than 10% didn't have it. And 10% of the population is 7 million people, which means that 53 is it's way too high. That 53 is effectively saying every adult in the UK's had it, because the rest of the people are kids and they wouldn't have had the first dose anyway.
Well, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know the answer. I don't know what's real and what's not. So we'll just have to leave it for people to decide for themselves, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and if this is the case, then it's another example of your government is being disingenuous.
Our government is always disingenuous. Your government, no matter where you are, is always disingenuous. They are very, very conservative with the truth on many, many things. And remember, these people are supposed to be your servants. They're supposed to serve you, and they hide things from you. I'm just saying. That's not a public servant in my view.
No, it's not, mate.
If you are literally hiding things from your boss, how can you be serving your boss? That is a very good question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it's a great question, and that I think I mean, the last 3 years of anything have completely destroyed my faith in a number of professions, chief among them being the police, the teaching profession, the medical profession, and politicians were always on the cusp anyway, but they really are the lowest of the low now.
They are indeed. Shall we move on, because we are getting to the top of the hour?
Yeah, let's move on. We've only got 3 slides left.
Let's move on to Qatar, because I kind of want to... I'm going to try and link this to somebody else in a minute, but listen to this. This is exclusive. A gay man in Qatar reveals he was lured to a hotel room through a dating app. When he arrived, Qatari officials were there waiting for him. They barred him one by one, arrested him, and deported him. And he's not alone. LGBT people are being hunted. Now, I just want to try and link this, or make a point even. Shut up, Gary Lineker. And the reason I say that is because he hopes that LGBT footballers out themselves in Qatar. He's an idiot.
Right, now, there's 2 sides to every story, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, you don't get lured anywhere if you haven't gone seeking it in the first place.
You're absolutely right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So the next point is, if you are gay and you're in a country that doesn't support gay rights
Yeah.
and treats gay people really badly,
I would not advertise it.
why would you? Why would you even think about seeking out
A hookup.
a relationship? Albeit how brief it may be, right? So then we have this story of where it was a honeypot, and I use the term loosely. It was a honeypot trap, and he was then, well, they pleasured themselves on him, right? And then arrested him and deported him.
Now, my question is this: are then they not also gay?
See now. So, right, this is a whole rabbit hole that we don't have time to go down.
Right.
And it's probably a rabbit hole that we get banned from if we actually started exploring it. But all I need to say is, if you want to read the manual, right, and the various interpretations, there's almost an out for everything, including goats and sheep.
Jesus.
No, not that manual. The other one.
I will say no more, but you know, I think if you're going to deport someone for being gay, and before you do so, you show them that you are also gay, then I just don't understand. And like you said, it's a rabbit hole.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count. There are exemptions for you if you want to relieve your lust.
And speaking of oh, I don't even know how to segue into this, because this next slide is ridiculous. This is France, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's almost like they've just taken what Jacinda and her intelligence services came out with the other day, right? Mm-hmm. And have just applied it to Vichy France, because it appears that France is a fallen country. And I mean, I did a short on another channel in another lifetime saying France had fallen, as I showed you I think I walked past a Christmas market that had been set up in the square that I was excluded from going in because you required a mask and a double treatment to get into it, which was in a public space in the town square. And France has fallen, you know. And the thing that gets me is, for all the French being belligerent and you know, keen to riot and all that, they haven't made a difference when it comes to this sort of thing, and they've just fallen along with it way too easily. This is not how I would have expected it to have happened in the European country that one must remember is the most reluctant to get treated for anything.
Yeah.
Right? And that's one of the reasons I thought I would go there. And I was terribly, terribly disappointed.
Yeah. I'm terribly disappointed as well, because I can't even define what a conspiracy theorist generally is. It's got no meaning. Just like many words these days, they have many words and phrases that used to mean something, have completely lost it.
As we saw earlier, we can't even tell what a terrorist is now.
No, it's a shame.
And the thing is, why should the government be interested if someone's a conspiracy theorist?
Because
why should they?
Because and we can actually link this back to David Icke, right? It's very clear to me now that what they mean by conspiracy theorist is somebody who disagrees with something their government tells them. And that's why you can't have David Icke in the country. That's why you can't. It's basically, as Natasha says in our chat, conspiracy theorists are the terrorists, the level 3 terrorists.
And you know what comes next? If
Gulag.
You're an independent thinker, you're going to end up
in the Gulag.
Like Ben said, in the Gulag, eating fish head stew.
Yeah. If
you've never read Solzhenitsyn, maybe you should start.
I'm worried about the trajectory of the Western world. I really am. As a journalist, and looking into this stuff daily. We try and make this show fun. We try and make this show funny, but it's getting damn hard to do, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it is, mate. But we'll have a laugh tonight. We'll have a laugh tonight.
Yeah.
I can assure you of that.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna have a look at that Twitter thread, aren't we? We are gonna have a look.
Well, whatever. We don't need to do anything. We'll just have a laugh tonight because we'll it's a free flowing. Oh, no holds barred. But before we go there, Trail Swift has put the old stick in the spoke of many a young bride's wedding these days. Because what's she done? She's gone and decided to go on tour.
Oh no! What's more important to these young women? Going to see Taylor Swift sing some songs or going to their own wedding? Definitely
Taylor Swift is definitely the way to go. There are people breaking up as we speak. Cancelled engagements. I'm not getting married to you because I'm going to go and see Taylor Swift. I mean, that's just ridiculous. These people have lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. I don't think she's toured for about 10 years.
Doesn't matter.
What age is she now then? She must be getting near 40 or something.
No, I think she's only in her early 30s.
All right, okay. But anyway, so yeah, you want to go see Trailer or you want to get married? Sod the wedding. I'm going to see Trailer.
And with that, John, I think it is time to tell these lovely people one more time. If you would like to support us, then please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent or on Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. If you haven't left a like on the show already, whatever platform you're on, please do so. If you haven't subscribed on whatever platform you are currently on, please do so. And evangelize. Click that share button. Tell people to come. We will be back here at 9 p.m. tonight with Chasing Dissent All In, episode 5.
All in.
Is it 5 or 4? It's 5. I don't really know.
Who cares?
It's
Who's counting? It's all in. That's what counts.
It is all in, and it's a very different show. I won't be dressed so smart. We'll be laid back. We'll be having a laugh. It's all good.
I might go and have a shower.
I mean, I may even have a second bath.
Pardon me.
We shall see. We shall see if the energy bill allows. Well, the energy bill will allow if you become a patron.
So with that, I'd like to thank you one and all for attending this episode 156 of Chasing Dissent Live. It's been a pleasure this week for you.
It has.
Not so much for me, but we'll meet again tonight.
We'll meet again, don't know when.
Well, we do. 9 o'clock.
No,
this channel.
And I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everybody.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience to talk to. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Tim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system.
You forgot Uranus.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work to.
Good night, Tim Bob.
Good night, Tim Bob.